Alright team, so today we are going to dive into implicit versus explicit constructors in C++. We are going to build a really simple example from scratch and see why implicit constructors can create bugs and problems in your code and how explicit can save us from some unwanted trouble. Okay, so let's build a really simple example here. Let's say we have a class called person and let's give this person a constructor, a public constructor, right? Let's say person takes in, let's say weight t, and let's print out to output when this constructor is invoked, right? Let's say constructor is invoked, and we can save off this weight in a member. So let's add a member here, int m underscore weight, and let's just save it off in the constructor, right? And let's give this class a public function called print, which will just print weight to the output, right? So let's print weight. Okay, so next let's create this person object, right, and call print on it. So let's do person p, and let's use an equal to for now. Let's say his weight is 67, and let's call print on it. So if I run this, we should see constructor is invoked 67, right? Now, because the person class has an implicit constructor, right? This constructor on line 7 is an implicit constructor, meaning it basically allows the compiler to automatically convert a given type into an object of the person class, right? So when you do this equal to on line 24, the compiler is going to search for a constructor that can do the conversion, and it will generate code for it, right? So this works. This line 24 will work if your class has an implicit constructor, right? Okay, but here is the problem though, right? What if I change this 67 to be 67.67, let's say, right? Let's say 67.68. Okay, now you're trying to create a person object with a type that looks like a double, right? Which is not supported by this class, right? The person class constructor takes in an int, right? So let's see what happens if we run this program. Oh, constructor is invoked 67. So what's happening here? It feels like the compiler is getting rid of the part after the decimal point, right? It's basically converting this number to an int, and that's how it works, right? What if I try to change this to be, let's say, a char, right? Let's make this a char, and let's run this. Oh, constructor is invoked, and then now we are seeing a 90, which is like the ASCII value of decimal ASCII value of capital Z, right? Now this is bad, right? Clearly we are not doing what we want to do, right? Or the code is not doing what we want to do, right? We are providing all kinds of data types here, and it happily accepts and creates a person object which feels wrong on the surface, right? It feels like the compiler will happily do some implicit conversions here, right? And create an object, the person object, even though you provide a type that's clearly not supported by this class, right? So the next natural question is, okay, I want to avoid this. How do we avoid this problem, right? How can we make it so that the class gets created the right way and we enforce some kind of type safety here, right? This is where explicit comes into picture. If you want to avoid unintended conversions like this, use explicit, right? That will help you make your code less buggy, and it will also avoid any kind of implicit conversions, right? So let's try this. Let's mark this constructor explicit, and let's try running this program now. Okay, now we see an error, conversion from char to non-scalar type person requested, right? So clearly now the compiler is warning you, hey, you can't do this. You can't do line 24 is now illegal, right? What if I try to give it a double, 99 point, let's say 666, right? Again, the compiler says conversion from double to non-scalar type requested, not allowed, right? So the thing to keep in mind here is if you have marked a constructor explicit, you can't use equal to anymore, right? You will have to use curly braces to create the person object. So this should also not work, right? If I run this using curly braces, okay, now you're narrowing. So you're giving this person class a value that can be bigger than an int, right? So you're kind of narrowing it down, which is also not allowed, right? Because person takes in an int, right? So let's give it an int and see what happens. There you go, constructor is invoked 99, right? Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video and now you know when to use explicit. If you want to prevent any unintended behavior in your code, if you want to make your code safer by ensuring type safety when constructing complex objects, you should definitely make use of explicit. Hopefully guys you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and if you have any comments or questions for me, feel free to post them in the comment section, right? Thank you very much.